no one will be here because I had to recreate a live. So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to jump on. It's been quite the night for me. Tonight, we're going to be making golden lentil soup. I apologize if you click the notify me button on this live cooking class because it's not going to matter tonight because I had to recreate this whole thing. So I apologize. Also, I've been notified that some people are not being notified when I go live. So make sure that you click the bell icon. And if that fails, you could even set like your own alarm on your phone so you know when I'm going to be going live. Definitely turmeric. So we're going to be making golden lentil soup. And I'm missing a key ingredient, which is hilarious because this is my cooking class. But anyway, I didn't notice it until about 5 minutes ago. So it calls for 4 tablespoons of curry powder. I don't have any curry powder. I went to go look in my container and it's like completely out. And I apparently missed the fact that it was completely out. So my husband is getting off work here in a few minutes and he's going to pick some up on his way home and we'll just add it to the soup later. But just so you know, when I go to read that ingredient and I'm not putting anything in the pot, that's why. So this meal can be a no meat meal, low meat meal, and you can even make it dairy free by swapping out the butter and the milk for coconut milk and lard. So there are several different options, but it's just been nuts. Today's been a nuts day. And that's why I'm late because I went to go get on and I had to update my YouTube app. So I did that and then something didn't happen right with my last little pre-scheduled class. And so I went to go live and it was the wrong orientation and it wouldn't let me flip it. And so I decided to start over. So we're just going to roll with what we got tonight. Naomi, you want to come say hi? What is she eating? Say hello. Who was that? Do you know? She's almost crawling, you guys. She's growing up really fast. It's so sweet. Yeah? She's going to go hang out with her big sister. Alright, so where did you put the ginger? You still have it?
It's inside the drying rack.
Okay, great. Thank you. Alright, so the very first step to this entire meal is to soak lentils. So these are golden lentils from Azure Standard. I soaked 4 cups, and this is how much it grows. So I'm going to make a big batch of the soup. And then when we get the curry powder from my husband, it'll taste great. But anyway, you only soak lentils for 7 hours. So I put 4 cups of lentils in here. And I put 4 tablespoons of whey with some filtered water. And it's just been sitting for 7 hours. So that's what that is. And I'm going to have to rinse it here. But we're going to get this other stuff going first. So, golden lentil soup is what's on the menu. We're going to make as much of it as we can before I need curry powder. So, let's get started on it. Just like last week, if you have ordered a cookbook, trust me, I am still waiting as much as you are. I sent out emails if you didn't receive one. There was only one that didn't work, and it was going through the iCloud. So, anyway, trust me, I'm waiting as much as you are, and they are going to be coming. So just be patient with me. I'm not going to just take your money and run, especially since my address and everything is down in the description box. All right, so we are going to go ahead and take some butter. We need 4 tablespoons of butter. This is the butter we use. It's from Azure Standard. It's Romano. It's nice and yellow, and that's not from dye. That's from grass-fed cows. All right, we're going to put 4 tablespoons, I'm just estimating, this is probably closer to 6, into the bottom of this pan. It was so funny because I scheduled the live last minute anyway. Hey, Sharon. All right. Anyway, I scheduled this live last minute anyway because I thought it was Monday. this whole like holiday thing totally threw me off. So anyway, I've just been kind of lost today. Our orchard is ripe, and so I've got a lot of work coming in the next week here. Depending on the workload, I don't know if I'll do a class next week. We're talking about, 500 to 600 pounds of fruit coming into my house all at once. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to go pick it on Saturday, and we'll just have to see. We've got lots of things to make. So we'll just have to see how it all shakes out. If you don't see a live event for next Tuesday, you will know why. Just envision me buried in a bunch of fruit. So we're going to be picking apples for fresh eating, and apple pie filling, and apple sauce, and apple butter, and all those things. And pears for pear sauce and pear butter. So that is what's on the agenda for Saturday. And I'm going to be canning like a fool next week. The next ingredient here is obviously one huge onion. If you have smaller or medium-sized onions, I would do 2. This is going to make a huge batch, though. Just remember that. You might want to have all the ingredients. I saw you were on, Jessica. I didn't say hello to you. Hi, Jessica. It takes my brain a minute to go, Shad. Gotta think about this. Hang on, I know that name. I'm trying to be better with names and be able to remember people that I meet, but I'm just not very good at it. I had a couple that drove down from 2 hours away to come see me live at my fermentation class, which if you're watching, thank you so much for coming. I don't remember your names, but I remember what you look like. Does that count? So I was like super sweet, and I love meeting you guys in person, so that was super fun. All right, so I just went ahead and chopped that onion, and it went into the soup pan over here. I forget you guys can see it better without the light on, so it's in there. We've got this pan over high heat, so the butter's starting to melt, and we're going to saute up the onion. The next ingredient is 12 garlic cloves, and I have a huge garlic clove. I mean, these cloves are just insane. So, they're bigger than my thumbnail. So I'm going to have to just kind of pick through and decide what I'm going to use here. Here's some smaller ones. We used a ton of garlic because we're fermenting, or are fermenting, starting a whole bunch of ferments of pickles, dill pickles. So we used a bunch of garlic today. Just going to peel these up and get them chopped. And then I think we'll rinse the lentils next. So this is just a little warning. I have actually never tried this soup. It was recommended to me by one of you, so I'm going to assume it's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it for my family. And then I'm going to do like a little review of the soup, and I'll pin it to the top of the comments later tonight and let you guys know what the kids thought. I am going to be adding some chicken to this recipe. I'm going to wait though until it's all done boiling because it's cooked chicken. But I plan to add about 2 cups of cooked chicken to the soup. The fermentation class went really, really well. I made up some kits because I don't like it when you go to a class and then they don't have anything to help you get started. Especially if you don't know anything about what you're learning about. So I had made some fermentation kits with a fermentation weight and an airlock mechanism and a lid that the mechanism screws into. And so we sold half of what I made up, so that was great. I just sold it for the cost, of course, that I bought it. But I just wanted to make sure that there was stuff there that if people really wanted to start fermenting, they didn't have to try and buy a $50 kit. So I just sold the kits for like $6. And it felt good to be able to have, the things that people needed so they could get started right away. It's always interesting to me how when I get garlic from Azure Standard, 1 month it'll be, soft neck garlic, and the next one it'll be hard. And the soft neck always throws me off because we can only grow hard neck garlic here. And the soft neck has cloves all the way into the center. And it just tricks me every time. I'm like, huh, where's the little hard stem in the middle? And there isn't one. Which is kind of funny. What you doing? Are you gonna go out and help?
What?
Is Bree outside working over next to the hay, where the hay's gonna go? No?
I don't know.
Okay, can you go see where Bree is and ask her if she needs help?
I was gonna go remember what else I was gonna do.
No, I don't remember. Can you tell me what you were gonna do?
I was gonna cut the lead pieces off to make a big casserole.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's fine too. That needs to be done too. Okay, so why are you inside? What can I help you with?
I'm just taking these now.
Oh, okay. Well, happy chopping then.
Okay.
So we have a long list of things that we need to get caught up on here on the farm before winter hits. And one of them is getting a bunch of wormwood, which is like taller than me. It's kind of like a bush. And usually we mow it when it's smaller, but now it's gotten away from us this year. I guess I didn't realize how much I was mowing of the mow time on the farm. And so anyway, the kids are now chopping it down and putting it in a huge pile to be hauled off. Because otherwise the snow is just going to drift on it, and that'll be that. Okay, so I just added the equivalent of 12 garlic cloves to the pan. I'm going to get a spoon, and we'll give it a good stir here. There we go. If you haven't watched the fermentation class video, you should. I know that the camera angle was not the most beneficial, but there's tons of information in it that you should know. So if you're thinking about fermenting or starting fermenting things, you should go back and watch that video and just listen. I do say the ingredients out loud, so go back and check out that video. I know a lot of you guys, I think it's getting close to 200, have already watched it, so that's really cool. Okay, so the next ingredient is ginger. This is peeled ginger. What we do is we freeze our ginger in the freezer, and then we peel it, and then we're going to just chop it. We're removing the skin because the skin can kind of give a bitter taste. So I'm just going to dice this up because it's going to be in the soup. And that's about 2 inches of ginger that's been peeled. That's going to go on in and get sauteed with everything. And I got to go grab some carrots, and then we're going to dice those on up. Hey, Gracie, what are you doing? Okay. I'm so glad you guys didn't go anywhere. I'm going to wash these carrots up, and we're going to get to dicing them. We need 8 carrots worth of diced carrots. What you doing?
I need a cup.
A cup. Okay. There you go. All right. Some of these carrots are a little ugly, but there's nothing wrong with them. I've decided that next month I'm going to give myself a break from dealing with ugly carrots, and I'm going to just go ahead and buy the #1 carrots from Azure Standard instead of the #2. So I was going through a list of how many pounds of fruit that we were going to take out of the orchard, because we're also inviting some other families to come and pick, because there is usually well over 1,000 pounds of fruit in the orchard a year, and we simply can't eat all that. So I mean, we probably could eat all of it. It's just, it would be preserving it. If I had a root cellar, I'd probably take all of it and store it in a root cellar for fresh eating. But I don't have a root cellar right now. And my second fridge is not big enough for 500 pounds of fruit. So, because you can actually get fresh apples from an orchard, wrap them in newspaper, and then store them either in your bottom drawer of your fridge or in a cooler condition like your basement. And we used to store them in our basement at our old house, and we just put them inside a trash can and wrap them, like I said, individually in newspaper. The reason why you want to wrap them individually in newspaper is because if any of them start to rot, that newspaper is going to absorb that liquid and it's not going to drip onto the others. So it prevents you from spoiling your entire garbage can full of, or fridge full of apples. Okay. Going for 8 carrots here. I don't even know if that's even considered a carrot. I'm going to wash these off. I'll be right back. Alright, let's deal with the weird one first. Part of that's going out to compost, which is basically the chicken's little treat. Alright. There's a good half a carrot left. That matters, right? So everything's been kind of crazy. So anyway, I calculated how many pounds of fruit we were going to take for our family. I looked at my recipes, which are all inside my cookbook. If you haven't bought my cookbook, the link's down below. They're only $18.99. Check it out. I do not have them yet, but I will be shipping them as soon as I receive them from my printer. But anyway, in there it says how many jars of everything it makes. And so I was able to figure it out. So if you guys have my cookbook, if you open it up to the canning section and you look at the apple pie filling, just for a reference for those of you who are canners, 1 quart, in order to fill up 1 quart with apples, it's 1 pound of apples. So if you have my cookbook, make that little note. That helps me to calculate, okay, if I want 30 quarts, I need 30 pounds of apples just for apple pie filling, which is what the plan is this year. So I started moving things around in my pantry today, and we hauled in some more jars. I was given some jars. Thank God I took them because we're going to need them this year. There's so many apples for the tree. And so we just kind of moved more empty jars into the pantry onto the shelves, like as a placeholder, so that when we bring the fruit in, we have jars down low. They're clean and ready to go, and then we know we have room for everything. I'm going to rinse these off real quick. So it's been a big day, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Naomi is basically completely over. I thought she was getting her teeth, and then I quickly realized that after her fever went away and she had a rash, it definitely was not teeth. So anyway, we've been through 6 disease this week. That's been fun. She had it all weekend, and so that means Mama wasn't getting very much sleep. But she got it from another little baby that we had been around, and I didn't realize that what was going on until it was too late. So anyways, I had a lot of, last night was a good night, but every night since last Tuesday night, probably, I haven't gotten much sleep. And the poor baby, she did not feel good. So that illness is like sores in the back of your throat and mouth, and a really high fever, and not wanting to eat, and just all sorts of rash all over your body. It's pretty nasty. So that's been fun. Whew, roll away carrot. We'll have to get that later. Maybe the dog will eat it. I'm just in like one of those moods where I'm like, whatever's easiest, that's what we're going to do. So let's see. Saturday we go to the orchard to pick. And we have another event we're going to on Friday. It's kind of a busy week. Sunday will be the down day, but we're going to have, you know, 500 plus pounds of fruit in our house, so it's not really ever a down day when that happens. All right. I'm going to call that 8 carrots. All right. Oh, is it sealed? It's sealed. All right. So, Lynn, if you're watching, here is your Lynn size salsa. I had a little extra, so I jarred it up for you. Wasn't sure it was going to seal, but it just did. That worked out well. Lynn is another, I have a couple of what I like to call mommy mentors. I think everyone deserves a mommy mentor, and you guys, I didn't have one for years. When I say mommy mentor, I mean somebody who puts their arm around you and like adopts you almost like a daughter, and just has like encouraging things for you, you know, and encourages you in your walk with the Lord if you're a Christian, and or encourages you with your walk as being a mother. And I'm blessed to have 2 people in my life that are like that, which is so cool. But anyway, so Lynn is one of them, and I have been, like, when I have just a little bit of extra of something, I've just been canning it up for her. And I just give it to her. So anyway, if you're watching, Lynn, that salsa is for you. All right. So we're going to go on to the next ingredient over here. So I'll go back through what ingredients we have into the pot, just in case you're just jumping on. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button so this video can get out to more people. I do not make a penny on these videos, so it's just solely to help me get the word out about nutrient-dense foods and meals that kids will eat. All right, so in this pan right now, sauteing is 4 tablespoons of butter, 1 really big onion, yellow onion, 12 garlic cloves, 2 inches of ginger that's been peeled and chopped, 8 carrots. That's how far we got. Okay, so the next ingredient is going to be some broth. I have some homemade broth today. So it's all gelatinous and the fat has come to the top. I'm going to go ahead and just scoop on out of it. We need somewhere between 8 and 12 cups of broth. It just depends on how thick you want your soup to be. So I'm going to try and get all that fat in there, because that's how I use that fat on the broth. I put it right into my soup. And then, if I wanted to, I could safely can the rest of this broth. But I'm going to be using most of it tonight anyway. But I always like to make sure that I'm putting nice fats in there. I have like jars of the fat that's been skimmed off into the refrigerator, and I just try to throw them in my soups. It fills up your family faster, and it takes care of a product that would normally just be waste to most people. So I'm going to go ahead and start with 8 cups of broth here, and then we're going to rinse those lentils behind me, and we'll get them added to the pot. I'm going to turn this pot back over high heat. I had lowered it down to medium once it got going. There we go. I really feel like that's not going to be enough broth. So I'm going to go for 12 cups, guys. If you need to learn how to make your own broth, I do have a video up here on the channel on how to do it. It's not hard at all. And it can save you quite a bit of money, especially if you're eating soups through the winter. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys over to the sink, even though it's like so dirty. We live here. It's real, right? So, there are my dishes from today. Isn't that nice? You guys all have dishes, right? Alright, I'm going to grab the yellow lentils that have been soaking for 7 hours. This was 4 cups of golden yellow lentils. I added filtered water, and I added 4 tablespoons of whey. And this has been sitting for 7 hours. That is the recommended time to let it sit. just gonna give it a rinse. I used some whey that was from making yogurt in an Instant Pot, and it kind of had some clumps of yogurt still in there, so that's why I'm rinsing them. You wouldn't necessarily have to rinse them. What are you guys doing? Okay. So these are not fermented, they're just soaked. You can sprout these though if you'd like. I just, like I said, I thought today was Monday, and so all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, what am I making for my cooking class tonight? And that was this morning at like 8 in the morning. I was like, that's going to have to do something that I can not have to ferment. So, no time to sprout either, so we just got it soaked. Turns into it reminds me of sweet corn, which is like making me kind of drool. It's been a while since we've had corn, you guys. I canned a bunch up though, so I'm hoping this winter we can have some soups with corn. Okay, one more little swish here. Hey, Graceland, come here. Come help me. I have a job that needs 2 hands. Can you help me? Could you hold this like right here? Ready? Here it comes.
Looks like peas.
Cheese? You think it looks like cheese?
No, peas.
Oh, peas? Yeah. Well, it kind of is. It's in that same family. It's called a lentil. We've had green lentils before.
Yeah, I remember green lentils.
Okay, so I'm going to move you guys. We're going to go back over to the stove. Okay, there it is. This pot is over high. We have all of our soaked lentils in there. Yeah, 12 cups. And I'm probably going to add even more. I want this to kind of be a little runnier of a soup instead of like a thick soup. So depending on what you want, you'll have to adjust the broth liquid up or down. Okay, so the next ingredient I don't have, because like I said at the beginning of this class, I'm completely out of curry powder. So my husband's going to be bringing some home, and I'll add it to the soup then. So we need to add 2 teaspoons of turmeric to the pan. It's been quite the day. I've had a normal day today, everyone. Okay, then the next ingredient is chili powder. We got 4 teaspoons of chili powder. The main taste is for the curry powder. But like I said, that's okay. My husband's going to stop at the store and bring it home here. Okay. 4 teaspoons of curry powder. The next ingredient is 3 cups of milk. Let me measure that out real quick over here. You could also use coconut milk if you want. I have plenty of goat milk, so that's what I'm going to use. Okay. There's the milk. And then the last ingredient is 8 tablespoons of coconut aminos. I bought this from Azure Standard a long time ago. They don't make it anymore, but they do sell a good brand. So 8 tablespoons, which is half of a cup. And just a special note, coconut aminos, I don't believe are GAPs. If you're being strict on GAPs and you're watching this. So you might just have to omit it if it's not GAPs. I can't remember if it is or not. Alright, so we're going to give this a good stir. Okay, so this soup is on high, and once it comes to a boil, I'll probably reduce it down to medium, just to keep it kind of at a simmer/boil. And depending on how broke down you want your lentils, will depend on how long you cook it. So it's gonna cook for anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how long you want to cook it. I'm going to go grab some salt. We're going to salt and pepper this here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 teaspoons in of salt right now. And then people can add salt when they've got it dished up and set their plate. A little bit of pepper. I don't do a ton of pepper because, like I said, my kids do not like it. So, all right, and then this just needs to sit for 30 minutes and boil. We're gonna keep an eye on it and stir it. And as those lentils cook on up, they are going to become soft. And then you have a couple of different options. I'm not going to keep you guys on here while it cooks because that's like a whole nother hour. But you have a couple of different options. You can either leave the lentils, you know, kind of whole and chunky, or you can take an immersion blender and put the immersion blender into the soup and make it like kind of creamy. Depending on whether or not you add more broth will depend on how thick or thin the soup is. Some people like it super, super thick and they serve it with bread. We're not having bread right now, so I'm probably going to aim for like the middle of the road between thick and thin on the soup for us tonight. And I might blend it a little bit. And then I'm going to add the chicken because it's already cooked. A lot of our chicken, just in case you're new here, is cooked and then stored inside the freezer in freezer bags. And we do it that way because we raise all of our own chicken here on the farm. And so it's a great way to be able to store, you know, over 100 chickens inside the freezer to have it all cooked up. Hey, starting over Homestead. Hey, Sharon. Sharon says, I started GAP's intro. I'm up to stage 4 and I made your GAP spread. Turned out really good. Oh, that's so awesome. We went to a zoo that's like 2 hours away from us this weekend. And just so you know, Sharon, here's a tip. This is like going to blow your mind. So I bought these. These are English muffin rings. I didn't even know there was anything such thing as that, but it's stainless steel. Okay. And so if you take that batter for that GAP's bread and you put 1/4 cup, so you like preheat your, in my case, my cast iron skillet. Okay. And I put these in here while it's preheating. And then I add a little bit of lard to the pan, you know. And then you put, like I said, 1/4 cup of that batter in the bottom of one of these. It rises so it's like level with this. And since it's just you, you're probably going to want to take the batter and divide it by 2 on all the ingredients because it actually uses, it creates a lot. So, but anyway, I think I get like 8 when I divide that recipe in half, I think, English muffins. So what we did was we made these English muffins and then I took them to the park and we cut them in half and used them as sandwich bread, like, you know, like a little hamburger bun. Worked amazing. We've used these as hamburger buns with hamburgers. And it works so much better than making that bread and like slicing it and then having to saute it. And so that's great. Because what ends up happening is the top and bottom sides of the English muffin are both already sauteed, so it stays together. And then you can just slice it down the middle when you go to eat it with your you know, deli meat or whatever. So it's great. So look into getting some of these and make your own grain-free English muffins that you could do peanut butter or whatever you want on them, okay? These are amazing. And they're, for the most part, non-stick. Usually when I put them into the cast iron, I'll dip like this little silicone brush in my lard and kind of go around the inside of it and then on the bottom of the pan and then add the batter. Works really, really well. Super good. Did you say you started intro though? Because you won't be able to have that. Sharon, let's see. Sharon says, how much curry powder? So I will be adding 4 tablespoons of curry powder as soon as my husband gets here with it. I'm not sure when he's going to get here, but I'm guessing I have some time since it takes 30 minutes to an hour to cook this. But it's so pretty already. Here, I'll show you guys. Look at this broth. It's so good. I'll stir it so you guys can get the full effect. Watch. So pretty. Anyway, a lot of that broth is going to get soaked up by those lentils. So it'll end up thicker. And so it'll be a nice thick soup without thickener. So you can have lentils on, and I might be corrected, I'm pretty sure. You can have lentils on full gaps, not intro. I think that's one of the last things on that stage, but just double check me. We're kind of at a situation right now where we are coming off of the full gaps diet and just like experimenting just a little bit with some other things. So this is one of our first times having lentils. It's definitely our first time having coconut aminos. I haven't eaten this in forever. And I'm trying to think of what else we ate. We had sourdough once, and we were all fine with it, so that was good. But we've just been keeping up with our ferments. In fact, back over here on this counter, I've got, this is all salsa I made today. It turned out so pretty. Look at that. So, salsa, and then I've got my stuff from my class, and then we're starting some pickles. So this was the fermentation kit that I was selling for $6 at the class. I had another one left over for myself. But anyway, these are my fermentation dill pickles that's inside my cookbook in the very beginning. And then there's a glass weight in here weighing it down. This is a stainless steel lid, super nice. And then this is what's called an airlock. So basically you ferment, and there's water in here, and so it prevents any bacteria or molds getting into your ferment and contaminating it, making it moldy. And so anyway, this will just sit on the counter and it kind of burps itself. I don't know if you can see this like little pointed thing right here, but basically it's loose in there, and so it can kind of come up and down with the air that's going to come out of this. So this will sit for 3 days and then we'll just devour it. But I typically use the kits from Starting Over Homestead says, I may have missed this. Can I use half and half instead of regular milk? Yes, you can. You can use half and half. You can use coconut milk, coconut cream. Just straight cream would make it super creamy. In fact, I think that if you cook this up and you serve it in a bowl and it's like on the thicker side and you were to just like drizzle cream, that would be super good. So anyway, what I was saying is it's my first time using an airlock. Usually I buy the kit from, let's see what's it called. I'm gonna grab it. It's $50. It's a kit from Mason Tops. So, anyway, this is like $50. It gives you a kraut pounder and some glass weights, and then these like little, I call them nipples. It's not what they call them, but it looks like a nipple. They call them, what do they call them? What do they call them? Pickle pipes is what they call them. So this is what they use instead of that airlock device over there. This goes on top of your jar, and there's like a little tiny hole. See that? So it automatically burps itself. Although I will say that I've had these not burp themselves. Like right now I have a jar. I'll show you guys. I think it's just like a juice issue. This is pickled beets that I made in the class. But you can see, maybe, see how it's like kind of peaked up? So this actually has pressure in it that's not releasing. I'm going to try and squeeze this and see if it doesn't squirt me. There we go. So every now and then I just squeeze it to let all the gas out of there. But like I said, this should be burping itself, so I'm not sure. You used to think it was like seasoning that was clogging the hole, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, I'm gonna put that away. But the kraut pounder is super nice. I don't use it anymore because you can just use your hands and squish your sauerkraut with some salt in your hands and then just ferment it. So, but if you want to whack it with something, it's a nice, beautiful piece of wood to smush things with. And this would be like masontops.com for this kit. Like I said, I think it's in the $50 range. It comes with 4 glass pickle they call them pickle pebbles to weigh down your fermented vegetables. And you use your own jar, your own rings, and then that colored lid I just showed you guys. So masontops.com if you want to get a whole kit. Let's see, what else was I going to say? Once again, just make sure that You guys make sure you have the icon selected on the channel to get alerts that I've gone live, because I know quite a few of you guys haven't been getting alerts. So this is becoming really, really bubbly. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to medium because I don't want it to overflow. We're going to kind of stir it down a little bit here. There it goes. Hey, sweetie. Oh, she's saying hello. It smells good even without the curry powder, but I'm sure it'll smell much better with the curry powder. How's it going? How is she? She doing good? She's bored. All right. Well, she can come and visit with the people with me if she wants. What's going on outside?
I don't know.
Okay.
Look, she's on the camera.
Yeah, she'll come look at herself. All right. Look. Naomi, look. Who's that? It's you, lovey. Oh my goodness. She's so cute. All right. Thank you, Paul Dunn, for that. Anyway, that is how we're going to make dinner tonight. So like I said, I'll add the 4 tablespoons of curry powder, add a little bit of diced chicken once it's done, and then serve it. Other than that, you guys have any other questions? Like I said, there may not be a live class next week because we're going to be bringing in over 500 pounds of fruit into our house to preserve next week. So it just depends on how all of that goes. I have lots of good helpers, but we also have a lot of other things going on. So, are you a helper? What do you think? She's like, I'm cute. I still didn't get a notification, even though I'm supposed to get all of them. Oh, yeah. I think you commented last week, too, and said it's just a notification system. And I don't know what to do about that. I know other YouTube channels have that same problem. That and people being unsubscribed. I haven't seen that happening on our channel lately, but you can't touch that. It's hot. We did have a problem with that last year. It seems like every time you get close to a milestone amount of subscribers, they automatically unsubscribe a bunch of people. But, kind of. You ready to go? All right, you guys. I'm not gonna keep you guys on while this bubbles for 30 minutes to an hour or so. But thanks for jumping on and joining me and Naomi. And I might see you next week, or I might not. So if not, we'll get together the next following week. All right. That's all I got. You guys have a good night. Thanks for watching. Oh, yeah.